Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. It's Carol Baskin from Big Cat Rescue, and I have some very sad news to report. Our beautiful 18-year-old Sheena Serval has passed on, and we took her to the state lab because she had some swellings that caused us to bring her into the cat hospital a few days ago and actually do biopsies on them to figure out what it was. We thought maybe it was cancer, and the tests seemed to be inconclusive for cancer, but they couldn't figure out what it was. And she was doing great, eating fine, and then one day she was limping a little bit, and so we went out there to try and catch her, and she was, even though she didn't limp while we were trying to catch her because the adrenaline was pumping, I think, there was just something off about her. And so that's one of the things that I really love about all of our volunteers and staff here is that they know when a cat is just acting weird, and Sheena was acting weird. So we brought her into the hospital. We did all these diagnostics. We got her eating a little bit better than she had been, and we decided she was hating being in the hospital, and there was no reason to keep her in there because the test didn't show anything. So we decided to at least give her the benefit of being outside. And then she passed. And so we sent her body up to the state lab to see if they can tell us what that was about, because that was just so bizarre. She didn't have any symptoms or anything. So in other news, in global news around the globe, if you go to bigcatrescue.org/news, there is all of the news about big cats, and there's a really good article that was talking about the impact of legal trade in farmed tiger on consumer preferences for tiger bone glue, which is they boil the bones until it turns into this glue-like substance. And so the result of that study was pretty much saying that as long as people were allowed to buy tiger parts, they would go the extra money and danger of buying illegally poached wild tiger parts, which is what we've been saying all along. In their study, they found that some people would rather have it legally than illegally, but because I forget the percentage, but it was a pretty large percentage of people who just didn't care. They wanted the wild product no matter what. So what we've been saying all along is if you increase the demand by farming these tigers and making it easily available to anybody that wants tiger parts, then the people who want the premium product are going to kill the tigers in the wild. And that's going to cause the extinction of tigers. Farming them does not fix it. So this study gives you a lot of really boring detail on that, but the whole thing's there, so you can go to it and read it. In Nepal, they're doubling down on tiger conservation, and they say they think that it's starting to pay off. This wild African cat has adapted to a life in big city surprisingly well. Just like our bobcats, they live around people because people make trash, and trash attracts rats. 8 big cats at the world-renowned St. Louis Zoo test positive for COVID-19. Wildlife photographer comes face-to-face with a mountain lion. Looks like a baby in that picture. Daisy Mae Cooper and Carol Baskin team up in penguin pay dispute. So I don't know anything about this, but I've been hired by both sides, apparently, Daisy Mae and Penguin, who are battling over whether or not she gets paid for some book that she wrote. She's a comedian in the UK, and so they've been buying cameos to hash it out. Tribal communities worship the tiger in Maharashtra's Nashik. Tiger King is back, how the dethroned series villains are. So PETA has a great story on how all of these people that you saw in Tiger King are now either in jail or have lost all their animals and are never allowed to have animals again. We just saw a report that the DOJ has told the Lowe's that they can never exhibit wild animals again. So that was great news, and I'm sure PETA covered all of that in their article. And you can just click on any one of these images and it'll take you to the full article. The Wisconsin DNR confirms the West Bend trail camera is a picture of a cougar. Cage Fight, the gloves come off for Carol Baskin's new docuseries coming out tomorrow. Yes, it'll be streaming on Discovery Plus tomorrow, which is November the 13th. And I hope that you will get your subscription to Discovery Plus so that you can watch the 2-hour special, Carol Baskin's Cage Fight, and see the work that you guys know we have been doing forever. But I think you'll see it in a brand new way that's going to be so exciting. 4 lions at the Singapore Zoo test positive for COVID. Tiger cub seized from a Dubai street. The owner faces legal action. Yay. They're doing something about it. This says mountain lion stares down hikers. Again, that looks like a baby. Hang tight. Got to take this call. I swear there's never a dull moment. So one of my tenants gets an eviction notice from somebody who says they've bought the property, which they have not. So I'll have to deal with that in a minute. But for right now, embattled Adirondack Wildlife Refuge relocates its animals. There is a Ring camera showing a mountain lion walking up into a Fort Collins front porch. There's a question, do increased cougar sightings mean more are roaming in Michigan? You know, I don't know. I've been asked that a lot about different cats recently, and I think there's just so many people now that have nest cams and rings that they're actually seeing animals that have been there all along. San Mateo police cruiser hits a mountain lion. What are the chances of that? Ugh. Hikers come face to face with a mountain lion. Boy, they talk about that one a lot. Like, it's where they live, you know? If you want to go out in the woods, you should have respect for the animals who live there. Tiger found dead in Madhya Pradesh Bangdavar Reserve. I wish I could pronounce this stuff. They said that territorial flight was suspected, so probably fighting for territory. Red Lodge Sanctuary welcomes a new bobcat named Doug at the Montana Wildlife Center. Stop the imports of exotic animals, says PNMP, and it says exotic animals should stop being allowed into the country to stub out the proliferation of zoos and private wild animal collections, the National Party said on Friday. Yeah, give it to them. Bolivia arrests 5 notorious Chinese Jaguar traffickers in collaboration with Earth League International. Kelowna Cougar continues to evade capture following 2 attempted dog attacks. And a bobcat was released back into the wild after being treated at Santa Barbara Wildlife Care Network. I also have a coordinator report for you from Jordan Elaine, who says, the day started out with Marie doing AM meds and supplements. Lockouts were done by Jane, Susan, Barbara, and Nisha. Small cat feeders were Ryan, Jane, and Susan feeding the front, and Robin, Stephanie, and Nisha feeding the center. Big cat feeders were Barbara and Emma feeding lakeside, and Marie and Kat feeding interior. Big cat cleaners were Stephanie and Ryan cleaning the front, while Jane and Susan cleaned center. Big cat cleaners were Marie and Barbara cleaning lakeside, while Nisha and Robin cleaned interior. All while everyone was cleaning, Misty knocked out food prep, and Kat and Emma worked on taking big sticks off of the enclosures. Yeah, every time the wind blows, we have sticks down. And the wind blows a lot. After lunch, the interns split up and cleaned the rat cages, and the other half worked on the perimeter wall, removing vines. Once that was done, all the interns had cat time. That does not mean touching the cats. We don't do that here, but they get to do things like enrichment and operant conditioning and reading to the cats and all of that. Kat ended the day with PM meds and interns doing PM chores. Thank you everyone who came out today. You can stay up to date with us on all of the social channels. We are Big Cat Rescue on all of them.